Alrighty, welcome to another episode of Tyler's Yarns. This is going to be our last episode of the year, so I'm super psyched for this one. Today's guest run 91 Vintage Market. It is, in my opinion, one of the biggest vintage markets in Melbourne. It is one of the main reasons why my company is where it is today and why the vintage community in Melbourne is so strong. Official Vintage started its journey in this market and a few other big Melbourne brands like Push Pull as well. It is great for small business owners. These are the guys who run the 91 Vintage Markets. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hey guys, I'm Chai. I'm, I guess, the main owner, and this is my friend Luca, who I run it with.
Hey, how's it going?
Sweet. So we've been doing the 91 Vintage Market pretty much from the start. So when Bonny used to run it, Bonny was the original creator of the 91 Vintage and the backbone. How's that changeover been with now you guys taking over 91 Vintage Market?
Well, to be honest, it was definitely really daunting in the beginning when even Bonny asked me to take over 91. But I mean, I think it's been a pretty natural progression for me to take over as being a storeholder from pretty much the beginning of the market. So I guess I've always been a part of it, regardless of not being part of 91 back in the day. But, you know, I've always watched so many storeholders come through and just do their thing and like grow as a business. And I guess for me to take over 91, it just felt pretty natural. So it wasn't necessarily super scary as soon as we started doing the markets, but definitely like the lead up and like her asking me and going through it all was definitely a bit scary. But you know, I think we're staying true to what Bonny wanted the ethos to 91 be. You know, we're very welcoming. We want everyone to be able to just come through and have fun at the markets. You know, that's just the biggest thing I feel like Bonny has always emphasized on, and just have a event that's good and fun for everyone to come down to.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, when Shy asked me to come help him out with it, I was like, oh, well, it's a pretty big thing, but working together and discussing things, it just kind of ended up flowing and working out all right. Of course, it was intimidating, but yeah, it's working out at the moment.
What's some of the history behind like the 91 Vintage Market? Like how long has it been running for?
So the 91 markets have been running for, I think, 4 years now. We've been, myself, I've got a second business that has always been a storeholder. We've been doing them since their second ever market. I guess we've taken over for about 7 months now. So this is our third market that we're doing as this team instead of the old team.
Yeah, that's exciting because I remember when we used to first do the market, I think the first market we ever did was in Northcote.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much 2 weeks after we started Official Vintage.
What year would have that been?
It was 2017.
Yeah, that was before my days, I think.
Yeah.
I was there for the second ever market, the first Evelyn market.
Were you the first, because you do sneakers as well?
Yeah,
so were you the first ever sneaker store?
We definitely were. It was insane. Yeah, just like, oh my goodness, seeing we were a page with no followers. Like we literally started like a few weeks before we started the markets, and it was crazy. Like we saw like Bonny post our stock and people just went nuts, and literally as soon as the doors opened, people would run to our table. It was fucking insane.
So you're the first ever sneakers. Were there any other sneaker stores at that
Nah,
first,
not at that
ever
one.
market?
Yeah, like we were like back then we were strictly shoes, Air Maxes only. Like just staying true to the Esh culture shoes. And yeah, like we were the only one. So I guess like it was such a pull for people to just be like, oh my goodness, there's such a range of Air Maxes in one place. And then as the years grew on, there was more sneaker tables. And I mean, the love of sneakers has never died for any of the customers, I feel. It's just the options and what people wear. Just, I mean,
Everyone
I don't know.
loves shoes.
Yeah, exactly. People love their options now. And I feel people try not to pigeonhole themselves too much on trying to wear one shoe nowadays. And I think that's great, you know, like that's just progression of life, you know. People love one thing, they move on to the other. It's just part of growth, you know.
What do you reckon about the like getting people through the door? Do you reckon it was mostly because of the shoes, or well, definitely at the start as well?
Yeah, I feel like it was a big draw to the markets back in the day because,
Yeah.
I mean, like where would you see a whole table of like 50, 60 Air Maxes? Like
No way.
you'd never see that stuff. I mean, you'd see it at 99 Star Count at at Saintside, but man, like that was only a pop-up thing as well. And when 99 Star Count had their Footscray store, I mean, I feel like that was such a backbone of Melbourne, like streetwear and especially shoes, and seeing them like, I guess, not be a business anymore. I feel like Melbourne felt like they lost a part of where they could buy shoes from.
Melbourne history. But like, yeah, Melbourne history with that as well. And then even the 91 vintage is a bit of like Melbourne history. What are some of the values of 91 vintage in the market?
Well, man, I think like, we just like to keep a market that's free and fun, and, you know, where people can come and shop, and not only just shop, but hang out. And we have people that browse for maybe like 2 hours before they even leave. Like, I think the first people that left the last market, they were in the market for an hour and a half, you know. There's just so much for people to see, and it's just like, just the collection of so much streetwear, I think, is so great when there's so many markets that are popping up that I guess are ticketed and stuff. And I guess I feel sells similar stuff, but is ticketed. And I think biggest draw to 91, or one of the biggest draws, it's free. There's so much good stock, and all the store holders like got mad stuff. Like, you know, they all pick their stuff. They're all hand pickers. Like, you know, we like, I think, yeah, just the stock of the 91 market just shines through the rest of them.
Yeah, especially you're talking about before the shoes. Like, there probably isn't that many Air Maxes and TNs in one place. Probably in Australia, like a market. Probably even in like the world, maybe London would be the closest place to even having that, like, many Air Maxes in one spot.
Yeah, I'd say
like
that.
Old, like retro ones, you know.
Yeah, definitely, like Sneaker Freaker and stuff. I feel like just more focused on hype stuff. So I mean, it's just not highlighting that sort of history of Air Maxes. And I feel like maybe Sneaker Freaker a few years ago offered that, but nowadays I think they're just like not so like.
Oh, how are we going to get people through to the door?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I think you guys are a lot more sort of community driven as well.
Exactly. Like, man, like all the store holders we have, like we try to, like, you know, we're friends with them, man. Like we don't, like, when someone comes to a 91 as a store holder, we welcome them with open arms. It's not just like a business transaction. We see what we can do for them to help them out in a business perspective.
Yeah, because you guys started with 10, and how many stores?
I think we're at 24 now. I think there was a few markets ago, there was a little bit more store holders, but we dialed it back a little bit just so everyone gets a bit more space and it feels comfortable selling at a 91 market.
Was that the main sort of reason why you dialed it back? Make
Yeah,
it sort
like,
of more intimate, or like? What?
Yeah, I think when I took over, because of my experience as a store holder, I think it was just great for me to understand that, like, spacing is, like, I guess, a big part of having a market. And if you have comfortable spacing, you're going to feel like just better through the day. And I think that was a big part of why I was like, oh, we'll give more space just so everyone's more spread out, and it's not just like everything's chock-a-block. People feel like it's more of a shopping experience than madness rush.
And there's already, like, even with 22 store holders, like, in that space, it feels like a lot.
Yeah.
But if you had any more, I feel like it'd be so overwhelming.
Like, I think there was a time where they did run that, like, the 35 stalls, and it was like you sort of were on top of each other as well.
Yeah, I think there was about 30 store holders, and I was in the back room that market, and it was really packed. But I mean, like, I think it didn't come from a bad place why there was more people. I think Bonny just wanted to have more people, like more options for the customers.
Yeah, and especially because, like, with people, you got like a lot more followers as well that will bring a lot more people in, because, like, your guys' goal is to get a lot of people through the door, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're offering a free event. So, I mean, we're not like trying to make money off people coming through, you know. We just want to offer the experience. Like, that's our goal.
That's what, and as with, like, having a lot more people does that as well, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean? But I mean, I feel like there's a line to draw there as well, you know, because you could be the busiest market, but people aren't having the best shopping experience. I think we want to prioritize the shopping experience as well as the store holder experience, rather than just getting as many people through the door, as many sales as you can. Like, I think, like, that's a great, like, business model, but I think that's just not what we're doing. You know, we just like to keep it chill. People like to hang out the front.
That's good.
Just relax. We got basketball at the front while people are waiting, you know. We just try to make it interactive. We do giveaways in the line, because obviously, like, waiting in line
so boring.
It is boring, man. Like, there's no lying on that, but, like, we try to make it fun, you know. Like,
make it feel quicker.
Yeah, like, time goes quick when you're having fun. Like,
that's a great quote, man. So pretty much, what are some of the issues you've sort of faced with running this market? Like, because you've done now 3 markets.
Yeah, this is our 3rd market coming up. Yeah. I mean, I think we're still trying to, like, I guess, like, what's the word for it? Establish ourselves and establish, like, the
brand.
Yeah, the brand, and just how, like, the processes that we go through to book a market. Because obviously it's only our 3rd market, so we're still on the learning curve, but I think everything that we do is just a learning experience for the next experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What sort of stuff have you learned?
Oh man, honestly, I've never really done event planning stuff.
Time management.
Yeah. Oh my
so
goodness.
important. If you don't have a schedule, you're not getting anywhere. It's going to be a stress. You get left staying up at night and not knowing what to do.
Yeah, like I think with this experience, we're learning that we need to evenly delegate our time through the downtime of the markets rather than a rush of a load coming in at the last month of the market. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that we're learning is time management and
planning ahead.
Yeah, like you know, we book it 3 months in advance, so we kind of know what we need to do, but sometimes we're not the best on acting on it until a little bit later.
Yeah, it's because you're like, oh, this is really important, but you just like leave it to the last
Exactly.
minute.
The priorities get a bit mixed up on things that you need to get done.
It's like most things as well. You just like, then you realize, I actually got to do this and I got to do it now, or you know what I mean? Especially with like even social media or like, plan the store holders or.
Yeah, man. I feel like social media is such a funny thing because I feel like as a consumer, you expect it to be so natural. You know, you just expect, the business to just like, post a story, post a post like 3 times a day naturally, or whatever the frequency is. Like, I feel like customers just think, like, you know, as a business, when you look at a business page, you just expect it to run automatically, right?
Yeah.
But I think people forget that there's like faces and people behind it. And especially with smaller teams, I'm sure you guys experience it. You know, it's just me and Luca pretty much doing all the social media, all of that stuff. Like, you just like get lost in doing one thing and then like forgetting the priority of another thing. It's just
so easy using social media, like just browsing and stuff. But when it comes to like a business, it's like, okay, I need to plan this post, I need to post this day. And you're jumping from, say, like Facebook to Instagram to TikTok and then TikTok to, you know, you got to balance it.
Yeah, that cross-posting life is...
especially now because there's so many platforms as well and you want to be on all of them.
Yeah,
and
literally.
It's like TikTok's blowing up and then Instagram's still like a mature platform. But you also got a shout out by Time Out Melbourne, which is huge as well.
Yeah,
on TikTok.
That was huge. I think
and then we got a like crazy amount of views as well.
Yeah, so I think the last market we had the most amount of people we'd ever had at a 91, and I think the contributing factors would have been Time Out, and we had a TikTok that went like 100K views. Like we literally hadn't had a video that had like 10,000, 20,000 views before that, and
TikTok is the powerhouse.
It just went crazy.
It's crazy when like you don't realize it's 100,000 people that get to see your stuff.
Yeah,
and like you don't realize how much 100,000 people actually is.
Man, you're just scrolling through the comments and seeing everyone tag each other, and it's just like, whoa, like,
let's go here, let's do this.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's a good feeling though.
Yeah,
like knowing people want to come to something that you're working on, and that's the best feeling, seeing people.
Because we had the same sort of vibe. We posted like, this is where the store's at or whatever, and then it blew up. We got like, it was crazy, like 1 million views or something. This is like full crazy. And then like the whole week or 2 weeks of that store, it was just like shock, like crazy amount of people came in, and it's just like shows how much
that's sick.
Social media does.
Yeah, man. Like I was like asking people in the line at the last mic, how'd you find this? And a lot of people were like TikTok.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Like I'd never really used TikTok before. Like, I don't know. I literally go on there and post a video and like close the app. And like, I kind of just opened it like a day or two after. And I was like, this is like,
yo.
Yeah, I was like, this isn't stopping. Like, these views just keep going. Like, I don't know. I was like, 50,000, 60,000, 70,000. Cause I just thought it would stop there, like, I mean,
you never
so
expect that much, and then it's just like when it's got momentum, you know it.
It's a snowball.
It's so addictive looking at the notifications and refreshing.
Yeah.
He's so bad with it.
Yeah, for sure. It's like super addictive. You were talking about store holders before. You said you have 25 store holders. The space is like probably good for that amount. Do you reckon you ever grow the space or change locations or?
Well, to be honest, I think maybe in the future we might do like different events, but I think
what sort of events would you do?
Well, like, I mean, just different scalability of, I guess, 91 events. So whether it be a mini market or a larger scale market, I think even if we were still to do those events, we would still keep a free market with about 25 store holders. Just because I think Melbourne longs for something that's constant, like a constant vintage market that isn't like Fitzroy or Camberwell. I feel like Melbourne loves curated events, and I think I think with 25 store holders, it's like the perfect amount of, there's so much variety, but it's not an overwhelming amount of variety. So I think no matter what we do, we'll still be sticking to a every 3 months, 25 store holder.
Oh, so you're going to be make it consistent in the city?
Yeah,
like central for everyone as
yeah,
well.
definitely. You know, just like we'll keep the market going as is, and then we'll do other events along the line. Like, yeah, we'll just see how it goes.
Do you reckon you do like sneaker events or just like parties or?
We'll see how it goes. I think we've got a party like for this event coming up. We've got an after dark after party for our pop up. Like I mean our market coming up, which will be super fun. Like we never really get to, I guess, get down with the customers because you know the markets is just so busy.
100%.
So. Flat out every day, like, oh my goodness.
You never really get to talk to anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it would be a good opportunity for people to come and like hang out with you guys.
Yeah, you know, if people got
all
questions
the holders, you know?
or anything, you know, like I feel like I'm an open book of a person, you know, like I don't know, I feel like I've got knowledge to share, and like I'm sure everyone that is a part of 91 has knowledge to share, even store holders, customers, you know. I think everyone downplays how much information that we could share with each other, and I think that like just
knowledge is key, you know.
Exactly, man. You know, and just giving everyone a reason to come down and just hang out and let their hair loose is just is a good reason, especially coming into summer. Like, what's better than a nice summer vibe?
Yeah, I love that. Like, you've brought in Bonny's sort of main values of it. Like, she started the market because she wanted to get everyone together, and you've definitely stuck with that, which is so good. And like, definitely like, leading into next year, I reckon it's gonna just even grow even more.
Yeah, man. Like,
That's
man, we've had it for 7 months now, and I mean, it feels so weird saying Bonny's not a part of it because, like, I mean, like even when I think about it, still Bonny's like
still comes to every market though.
Yeah, literally, she's still there hanging out, selling some stuff. You know, like even if she's not owning it, like she's literally there every market. Like, it's
spirits with us.
Yeah, literally.
It's always good, and it's always good to have like a helping hand because she knows what she's doing. Yeah, like when you're at the market on the day. I know how stressful it would probably be for you guys, and you'd be like running around like headless chickens.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
and then you're like, oh, is the line big? Is it not? Is all the store holders sweet, you know? And then it's like, have we got like enough stock? And then all this sort of stuff that would be going through your guys' head.
Yeah, legit. With Bonny there, it definitely feels like a bit of a safety net for myself. Like, I'm like, oh, if shit goes wrong, God, like obviously it's on me, but I'm like, oh, Bonny, help me out.
Because you guys definitely, like, your last market was probably the biggest market I've ever seen the 91 vintage get.
Yeah,
like,
I think
you had
Bonny,
a whole line wrapping around the.
Yeah, I think Bonny had 1,000 people at the Evelyn, so it like was crazy all day, but like just because 524 is a little bit of a bigger space, we had 1,100 people or something, and it was like I think the line died at 2:30 and we closed the doors at 4, which was
so sweet. And then by like being a store holder myself, like you're pretty much wrecked by 3 o'clock anyway,
Legit.
so you just want to chill out and talk shit with like other store holders anyway.
Exactly.
Pretty much. So it was like kind of like the perfect day, honestly. Like it honestly
was
felt
so
like the
fun.
stars aligned.
It was such a good day. Like even though it rained and everything, like it didn't even. It wasn't.
Yeah, because they said it was supposed to rain in the morning, but then it didn't.
Yeah.
But I reckon like now leading into summer, like you're going to be on probably a hot weekend by the looks of it at the moment.
I reckon. I think.
Let's hope so. With the Melbourne's weather lately.
Because what date's the next market?
The 11th of December, so in a week and a half from now.
Yeah. So is that a Saturday or a Sunday?
It's a Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from 10:30 till 4 o'clock at 524 Flinders Street will be our next market.
Oh yeah, sweet. So so I was just saying before, your last market was the biggest. What sort of installments do you have coming into this next market, or like store holders that might be there? Or
I think the roster is pretty similar to the last market.
Yeah.
We didn't I guess try anything too crazy this market, just because it's coming to the end of the year. I just thought, we'll just keep it chill, keep it casual, keep 25 store holders or 24 store holders or something, and just like keep a similar vibe. Like, I don't think that we need to change too much. Like, I think even before we took over, like the number of store holders besides that really big one we did, it's been pretty similar, especially at 524. So I think like it's not like the blueprint of it, but it runs well. So we didn't try to do anything too crazy for the day market. But I think it was a bit of a crazy idea for us to run an aftermarket.
Yeah. So just but I don't know, you guys got like have to test the waters,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
and you got to start trying new stuff as well, like because you could definitely got to adapt to everything that's going on as well.
Yeah, man. Like I feel like with everything moving along, like you just don't know like what's in store for the world next, or what's going to be popping next. So I think just giving more of a reason for people to get together than just one reason. It's just great.
And it's like trends, like you never know what's going to be good next. Or
Yeah, man. Like, I think we've been super lucky. Like, we've been running. I mean, 91 has been a business for 4 years, and like vintage hasn't died down since then.
No,
but you can
it's only increased as well. Like
literally, and it's
I honestly think it's just like gonna be increased, like building, because people understand sustainable fashion.
Yeah, pretty much, man. And like people just like, man, what's the point of buying a new piece of clothing when you can get something, man? Like with retail prices and stuff going up, it's like, why wouldn't you pay like a little bit less for a used item? Like, I don't know. It's always like, I don't know. Buying new things has never been something I've been crazy on. Like,
that's what
unless
I mean.
it's crazy cheap. Like, I'm not really gonna buy it. Like,
and it's like, oh yeah, you got this thing that's gonna last you for so long. Like, I'd rather go to a market like that than like I don't know, like a bad pop-up.
Literally, when you're buying like clothes, especially like t-shirts and hoodies, like, man, that stuff lasts forever. You know, like what happens? Like, who cares if the print cracks a little bit? Like, you're gonna wear the thing for like 10 years, or when you get bored of it anyway. Like, so that's just how it is.
So when you're talking about, because you obviously run Sneaker Dingo, which is a company aside from 91 Vintage Market, you're the first sort of shoe store at the Evelyn when you on the second market of the 91 Vintage. And now how many shoe stores have you got?
Well, I think we fluctuate between 3 to 6 shoe store holders at the markets now. I mean, like, we don't want to give too many shoe stalls, like, I mean, because I feel like shoe tables, they take up a lot of space, so we don't want to make it too shoe orientated. So I think with like 3 to 6, it's like a real, like, you know, that's hundreds of pairs of shoes there. You don't want to like create like, I guess, influx of too many shoes available, because I don't know, I feel like clothes are obviously going to always be the highlight of shopping for most people, because, you know, shoes, like, it's just broken down into so many more sizes, you know. So
I mean, you got 9.5 and something I want, especially the shoes that are selling at the market. They're like,
they're
like
hot shoes.
one of one Air Maxes that you probably won't see ever again.
Exactly.
You know?
So it's like, you know, like clothing, it's a bit easier. You know, you got what, like men's extra
large,
small, whatever,
medium,
whatever. And yeah, I mean, like, you know, people can wear things differently, so it's like a bit different. But I don't think people like to make their feet uncomfortable for too long just for looking good in a pair of shoes.
Yeah. What do you reckon about the increase of like reselling shoes and vintage, like being so popular now? Like, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, man, it is what it is, man. Like, I mean, it's happening without, like, I mean, us. Like,
not even.
Yeah, like, you know, it's gonna happen regardless. Like, I think for us, we see it happening, but like it is what it is.
I feel like clothes have always resold and things, just that more people are seeing it now. Like, if you're always into vintage and collecting and all that sort of thing, like Air Maxes and even just like fresh t-shirts and stuff have always sold for a high price. So I mean, it's always supply and demand, you know. Like, I think whatever people want to wear, like, it'll always be in demand. And now, obviously, there's always going to be the knockoff cheap version, you know. You got, like, Culture Kings selling fake vintage shirts and
Cotton
stuff.
On and
literally Cotton On selling old, like, fake Metallica shirts with the same print that's like... Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, you know, people... Like, the consumer can buy what they want, but, you know, I think... As a conscious consumer, I think a lot of people are choosing to buy secondhand just because the why not? Like, I feel like with clothes nowadays, man, like, I think a lot of them are made pretty much more poorly than the ones that are made 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's like, why wouldn't you buy a secondhand one? Like,
well, definitely, because most of the clothes are made in the US and they're actually manufactured there, and now everything's like offshore.
Yeah, literally.
Like, you know what I mean?
You know,
and there's no effort put into the stuff that they're making anymore. It's all just like, oh yeah, let's make some money. You know what I mean?
And man, even the cuts of like the old clothes, I feel like are just way better. Like, everything's just better from like early 2000s. Well, that's just me anyway.
No, it's
like,
true.
I'm a sucker for early 2000s stuff. Like, just the fit, you know, that boxy
good. It's just getting into the
ringer necks. Like, that's what I love, you know.
So pretty much, so obviously with the increase in reselling and stuff like that, do you reckon you'll be just doing Melbourne markets, or are you guys going to start doing interstate pop-ups? Like, what are your vibes with that?
Well, we'll see how it goes, man. Like, I don't think we're prioritizing, I guess, moving abroad or moving interstate at the moment, or like making a traveling market or anything. I think we're just trying to like make grassroots in Melbourne. Like, we love Melbourne. We're definitely a Melbourne orientated market, man. So I think maybe one day, but for now, our focus is definitely just like growing our Melbourne community, because man, we got so many loyal community members. Like, I feel like every market is like, I get stressed, are people even gonna rock up? And it's just like, man, people line up even before I get there. It's just like, insane.
There's only more room to grow, you know, and why not just do it where you're from, kind of thing. It'd be sick to, you know, obviously like expansion's great. Like it'd be sick to do a pop up, you know, interstate. But for now, I reckon we're sticking to Melbourne.
Yeah, I think you got to grow what's in home at the moment.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, and I mean, because I mean, me and Luke have only been doing 91 for 7 or so months now. I think it would be pretty like not the best idea for us to be focusing on growing interstate when we need to just like knuckle down and I don't know, just be a part of Melbourne before we do anything else. Because I think what's the point of just trying to like blow up as quick as you can when you need to like set your roots down and just enjoy the ride while it's coming.
Well, even figuring out like event management and like you guys are so new to it as well.
Like, all that stuff, it's like
start actually having structure and schedules and like that stuff you need to start building up before.
Definitely. Like I feel like structure of a business is one of the biggest things before you like, I guess, move on to bigger and better things. And me and Luca, like we're still figuring things out, you know, we're still working like the nicks and knacks and how to make the markets the best. And I mean, until we figure that out, like I don't think it would be right for, we would feel guilty, you know, moving on to like something when we're not even prepared for it. So I think for now it's like, yeah, definitely Melbourne. Like we love it here. Like,
hey, two Melbourne boys. Love
well, man,
Melbourne.
I'm from Brisbane. Like, I moved to Melbourne like 7 years ago.
Yeah,
like,
but you never leave, man.
yeah, bro. Like literally, I like ever since I've been in Melbourne, like I'm like, oh, like I see myself as a Melburnian. Like I don't know, it's weird.
I'm from New Zealand, and I'm from New Zealand, but I'm now from like obviously been in Melbourne for like 10 years, and it's like.
Yeah, it feels like home, man.
This is like home. I go back to New Zealand and I'm like, this doesn't feel like home. Like, you know.
Yeah, legit, man. Like I go back to Brisbane and it's like, oh, I miss home. Like,
Yeah, miss home.
I don't think I miss Melbourne. I just think I miss home. You know? Everything about Melbourne, I love. Like that's why I moved here in the first place. Like I don't want to move anywhere else. Like this place is amazing, man.
Sweet. Pretty much the last question I have, as a social media and advertising is moving at a rapid speed. Everyone is trying to do bigger markets, move to bigger and better marketing. How do you guys think 91 Vintage will stay relevant?
Man, I think just because we stay in our own lane and we're doing whatever we want to do, I think, you know, that's what sets us apart. We're not chasing to be someone else. We're not copying someone. We're just doing what feels right for us. Yeah. I think that's just what's going to really set us apart in the future, especially when, you know, people have come down to the 91 markets and they know what it's about. Like the feel of the 91 markets is what I feel like is, I guess, our ethos, you know, people coming down, feeling comfortable, being able to shop around for especially an extended period of time. I feel like that's something so special, man. Like having a place where people are able to just come down for not like 20, 30 minutes. Like people are comfortable to stay like hours at a time. Yeah, like people, even after they're done shopping, will just hang out outside, just like chatting with people.
Which is just the best thing, you know, keeping it community and keeping it all about the people and the shoppers and providing like fresh clothes and shoes. Like that's what we want to just keep doing.
Yeah, and making the experience the 91 experience, not just a vintage shopping experience, a 91 experience.
I love that. Do you guys want to plug it up? Just tell us where the market's going to be,
for sure.
times, when people should line up.
Yeah, so our next market is at 524 Flinders Street on the 11th of December from 10:30 till 4 o'clock. It's all ages and it's free. We also have an after party. We've got a bunch of DJs like Soju Gang, Pimp My Ride. We just got a bunch of like mad DJs, Sana, Cookies and Cream, coming down from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. for a ticketed after party. So come down and come enjoy the community and hang out with us.
Sweet. Thanks for hopping on, boys.
Our
Good
pleasure,
chat.
man. Thank you so much for having us.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.